Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel here today. Today we're going to be tackling the next couple of episodes of Sayonara Zetsubou Sensei. Very excited to be here. Checking these next two episodes out after last week's introduction. Yeah, let's call it that. It took me a while to get my sea legs with the show last week, but I found it, at its core it was quite simple and I found the jokes funny, so kind of been that bad, I guess. Again, this seems like a grower, not a shower. A show that will build upon its jokes and its gags and its references and all that other kind of stuff to become funnier as it keeps going, I guess. A lot of it went over my head, but we have some plans in place here, of course, to rectify that, which I guess I'll just get up now what I'm going to be planning on using. That here is the liner notes for the episodes. So this is all well and good. I'm just wondering how consistent this is going to be for everything, because yeah, it seems like this goes for a pretty long time. Mostly I'm just trying to check if this goes past season 1, which maybe it does, or maybe this is just a season 1 Blu-ray thing. Again, we'll cross that bridge if and when we get to it, but essentially now I'm not going to be, I guess, going through the jokes when I'm doing the analysis section, if that makes any sense. I'll be going back through the Blackboard stuff and a few other references through this stuff. Clearly I'll have it framed a lot better than this so people can actually read the stuff as I'm learning it as well, but again, this seems pretty extensive. It's official translation stuff, and yeah, thumbs up. It seems like a good resource. And again, stops me rereading stuff and trying to figure it out and cuts back on me Googling, so shoutouts to this. I think this is a good resource for me to use. If this exists for other seasons, that'd be great as well. Either way, we'll start here with the YouTube comments. I've got 4 comments here today, starting with 2 comments from Sal. First part here, the live action guy appearing every so often is Mydax, or Myda if you're boring. Mydax, because I'm not boring, so that's what I'm going to call him, I guess. We love him, we revere him, we know absolutely nothing about him, which is weird because I go up here and it's like, yeah, that guy's, yeah, he's a voice actor for parts in the show and also worked on the manga. So it's like an in-joke, basically. It's what I thought it was. So it's not just some random bloke. We actually know who it is, which is nice. But yeah, it serves its function. It's, it's a random thing in this show that's very esoteric and odd and stuff. It fits perfectly, I guess. Again, I said it last week, very fully coolly energy, I would say. That's not even just the show, the concept as well, now that I think about it. Anyway, this was mentioned to me by multiple people as well. I'm totally down for reading the manga for the ending of this thing, because people have told me, like, not just Sal here, but many people on Discord as well have been like, hey, you should check out the manga. The manga's got a very good ending that's very revered, and yeah, I did that for Girls Last Tour. I'll do this for this. Those Girls Last Tour manga videos are some of my favorites that I've done on the channel. So yeah, if it's anything like that, sign me up. Next comment here from Molly. Your mileage may vary, but I would not recommend Joshiraku to someone today. It'd be like watching Lucky Star for the first time now. The humor is of its time, not like cancelable, but just very 2010. Now that's very funny, because I saw Lucky Star for the first time, not like recently, probably within the last 4 or 5 years. I think. I forget when I watched it. 4 years sounds right to me. And I loved it. I love Lucky Star. I think it's fantastic. I didn't think it... You could definitely... I missed a few of the references and whatnot, but at the end of the day, it was a Kyoto Animation production that had fantastic voice acting and comedic timing and stuff. Like, if you're nailing that stuff, if it's not entirely dependent on the references and the rest of the quality can come through, then what's the downside, I guess? But either way, I haven't seen it, so I'll take your word for it. I think I said 4 comments before. There's actually 5, because I missed Parnik's comment here. Not to get all sentimental and stuff, but yeah, I like remember that comment, and like, that was like one of the first comments that I got on YouTube, which was crazy, so... Goes a long way back, I guess, which is pretty crazy. We like to hear it. I'm going to stop. The tears will start flowing out of my face if I don't. Yeah, the background joke stuff, as I said, we'll do the explanation portion of the show. Or the episode, I guess. The video that I'm making. That'll probably take up a large chunk. And for the record, I didn't get any people talking any weird way about the translation there, so I guess the first episode will go public and I'll see what people think, but for now I'm just going with the official stuff again. So again, the jokes are translated, they just don't translate, I guess, to me all the time, which is fine. I'm Australian. This show is made for Japanese people. It's just how it goes, I guess. And yeah, looking forward to future comments, of course, as well. Last comment here today from Error Unknown, which is a little bit of a longer one and kind of does last week's job for me and explain a few of the references that passed me by. So again, that's why I'm neglecting to not do any of this stuff, like at the moment, I guess, like for the first episode, because I have this comment here. And I did a lot of the research myself as well. Always do your own research, Chad. It never goes bad at all. This was one I, realized in editing and then went, I'll leave it. Yeah, it clearly meant perverted in the not, like, horny sense, but, like, perverted as, like, this culture is perverted, I guess. Off kilter, not as it should be. That's what we're kind of saying there. Now, this is crazy. Sayonara Zetsubou Sensei was one of the first shows I started watching way back when. Yo, this is a terrible start anime. Terrible. Hey man, if you vibed with it, you vibed with it. But this would, if I was like a normie, this would like go straight over my head. And again, not that I'm not a normie, you know what I mean. But like, I at least I've seen a few shows. I make videos on this thing. I know some stuff, and even most of this is going over my head. This was one of them big boy ones, Not something you should start with. Just stick with the My Hero Academia. It's fine. This was another idea I had. Reddit rewatch threads are pretty good for this kind of stuff as well, explaining references. And again, if you go into the no spoiler threads and that kind of thing, then they're generally pretty good. So shoutouts to Reddit, we love to hear it. In the opening sequences, the long rambling pieces of text are famous online rants. So there's a famous Yoshinoya rant from the Japanese internet forum 2chan, of course. We love 2chan. So yeah, we'll see what the liner notes say about that, I guess, but seems funny. Seems very internet-pilled, which is fun. We already did the one about Maidax. We love the guy. The Blackboard features writings of Kumeta-san, who is the author of the manga. Yes, I agree. The Blackboard says, is that robot dance from a Sunrise show? This is a reference to Overman King Gaina. Or Gaina? I would imagine Gaina. Where in the opening had every character, including the robots, do the monkey dance. The Blackboard also says Rosen Mayday and adds that it is a second district festival for workers. This is a play on the words Rosen Maiden, an anime. For even more connections, Miyuki Sawashiro, who voices Maria, voices Shinku, one of the main characters in Rosen Maiden. Okay. That one is like multi-layered. That one's crazy. Well, that's fun. Yeah, the star seems to be a little bit of a Lucky Star reference as well, when Kafka's talking about the star and putting that in the middle of the name and whatnot. Or again, the reference to the actually shouted out in the episode Sonora Hero that I looked up last week. There's a few Shaft-specific references here. One, we have a character called Setsuna Sakurazaki from Nejima that are in the background, students with similar hair and whatnot. Again, this is, as I said last week, this is like pre-what I know Shaft. So if they had like a bunch of like, I'm just imagining it's like equivalent of like having somebody with like Madoka hair or something. Just like before. Something like that. Yeah, this was the other one here. The two rightmost students in the second row in that kind of wide shot that I noted are from Pani Pony Dash, another show from Shaft. I remember they looked all weird and fucked up, so again, maybe that's what they look like in that show. I mean, they look okay. Yeah, I could definitely see the art style now. Okay, sure. And final tidbit here is that, remember that one hopelessness survey that had kind of the manga award on it multiple times? The name on that one was Kumeta, so that's pretty funny too. Out of all his ambitions, the most hopeless of them all is to win this prestigious manga award. Very, very cool. Let me check that. Who wins this thing? Okay, seems like we have a general, a shonen, a shoujo, and a children category. So if I go to like stuff I actually know about, which is down here, yeah, I mean, I've heard incredible things about this, and yeah, I know of I know of the mangaka too. This is shonen, so Takagi-san. I've read all of Takagi-san. I don't know if that's a self-report or not, but sure. And yeah, Chainsaw Man seems pretty good. Tatsuki Fujimoto, pretty pog. I've never heard of this one, but sure. I'd imagine it's pretty good. I don't know, this is I actually really love Aoashi as well. Maybe I should look to this thing, because Kaguya is obviously very good too. Komi can't communicate. Komi was okay. I've heard great things about Medalist. Obviously have the adaptation out at the moment as well. Call of the Night was fun. This is like, is that Blue Orchestra? I think I've heard of that, maybe. Tomorrow I'll be someone's girlfriend. Okay, sure. And then it seems like we've changed our format somewhat, and we're listing it differently because we're not doing categories anymore, I guess. They're just out here. So obviously, again, Elusive Samurai had its adaptation. Was pretty well received. Freerun speaks for itself. I liked Burning Carbody as well. I saw the adaptation for that a little bit. I thought it was pretty fun. And yeah, I've heard of this slime one too. Anyway, that was an interesting little tangent. At least it was interesting to me. Either way, I'll shout out the Patreon, and then I'll set us up for the upcoming episodes. If you wanted to be that 1 week ahead, I have a Patreon. It's linked in the description below. You pay me some money, you get the videos 1 week early. It's pretty awesome. If you're particularly into Tanya the Evil or G-Witch at the moment, they're both up there as well. Yeah, exclusive voting rights in polls and all that kind of stuff as well. But many people have done this. Many people have given me money, up to and including Mickey Babba's Trust Plus Plus, AJ, Bananarama Hamadama-sama, Bisa, Bobbin, Chobo Ribby, Copley, Sinarin, Dapper Dwarf, Domobot, Ed, Fancy Question Mark, Ferdinand Hernando, Flo Nightingale, Fried Rice, Fruit, Fusel, Gloriana Tenebrae, Glyke, Greybeard, Gus N, Hans Peter, Ika, Yako Yavanen, Jacob R, Jami Boo, Joran, Kosogtha, Kelvin, Clem, Nosta, Lasher840, Leal, Lick H, Lou, Master Detective, Mistake L Chen, Molly Weinberger, Mr. Maniacs, Nico Lane, Parnick, Pencil Sharp 333, Ragashingo, Ronled B&K, Saint Lily, Sal, Sam1373, SGM Jarnus, Skeleton, The Lazy Panda Man, Waifu Overdose, Without a Net, Yuki Ali, Zach, Akamansa, Binshi, Voodoo Chili, and Backslash. Thank you to everybody for giving me money. I enjoy the money. There is a teacher. He wanted to kill himself. He was prevented from killing himself by a student. She's very hopeful. He's very full of despair. That's our general setup. There was also a few extra characters. There was a really studious one whose name is escaping me, as well as a school counselor of sorts, right? That kind of gets roped into talking with one of the teachers for most of the day. Either way, it seems like it's all going to be vehicles for esoteric jokes and references and all sorts of other writerly goodness, I guess. So, again, not much else to set up. Let's just jump into episode 2 of Sayonara Zetsubou Sensei right now. Rightio, I have episode 2 of Sayonara Zetsubou Sensei Season 1, if I can speak, up there ready to go. 23 minutes and 42 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy. I have literally the Blu-ray, so it's like the official copy. Again, very open to changing things. If people want me to change things for whatever reason, just let me know. Either way, there will be a picture-in-picture version in the description below for your viewing pleasure. Either way, let's give this thing a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, Kafka's full of pleasantness and light. Very hopeful. And very not hopeful. Also, my good friend Midax, or Midax, is here. Okay, he wants to jump in front of a train. Saved, I guess? That's a good sign. That's like essentially the same joke as episode 1, and it still made me laugh. Oh, so yeah, I had my theory last week about this opening that it would have a little bit more of a visual component. But again, what the comments were implying was that these just have like famous rants in them. So I guess that's a visual component, just not one I particularly understand. For me, this is just all very calming. I get this. I can understand this. I don't need to focus up as much. That guy's funny. I think he's objectively got a funny face. It's not like a diss or anything, it's just true. It's actually a good thing. The vocal's so good too. It's the voice cast, right, too? It definitely sounds like our good friend the teacher, whose name I need to get a name. It's bad. Like a proper name, because there was too many names last week. Okay. Itoshiki. Commit it to memory. Yeah. What are you talking about, man? Okay, that's sick. Doesn't take a lot to set him off, though, but I'd be annoyed. Yeah, I thought it got skimmed for some reason. No, he's just being paranoid. Okay. Probably not on the, like, Tokyo-ass subway, but some places, yeah. They skim your shit. But why don't you let it happen first? But you see, that's my character. No, it's not really what I'm saying. It's actually my job to tell people not to do that. Okay, yeah. Are we gonna go check on her? Okay. Yeah, the noose. It's literally your job? That's great. Thanks, Mommy. Cheers, Sensei. What are you doing here? Is it after school, I guess? Either way, they're both, like, wagging or something. I don't know what's going on. She's paying the licensing fee. Yeah. I wonder what his relation is to her. Guess we'll never know. I don't have any friends. Okay. Well, this is sad. And also awkward. Indeed. What? What? Alright, you're living in denial world. What? Oh, okay, so it can't be... It needs to be a spirit. In a way, it's positive. It's foolishly positive. Well, that works for me, yeah. What? Well, that's no good. Morning fresh. Well, obviously not. I guess you should trap my daughter in there. I saw a couple references there. Do you have to pay for the plumbing, or...? Oh, now I can't get out. Oh, this escalated quickly. Fine, I'll go to school then. She's a fast worker. I don't like dolls, bro. They've just terrorized this poor girl. But we also fixed her. Indeed. Oh. You probably shouldn't say that about her. Well, she probably hasn't got much of a tan. That stinks of a pun. Okay. Alright, so she's gonna come to school now. That's good. Yeah, Kirikomori, Hikikomori. Okay, failing upwards. We'd love to see it. Oh. Yeah, she moved in here. She's still Hikikomori in here. Oh no. Okay, sure. Are we gonna like meet the team a lot more in like the kind of episode structure? Just like character introductions? Because I don't mind that. I can do that. Araragi vibes. Sees a bicycle once. Yandere? Patreon? Okay. You have a stalker? Well, you can't live in there. She's here. Sinetsky Matoi. Yeah, that's illegal. Yeah. It's almost like they're all anime characters with all anime personalities. Okay. I know. Okay. Ooh, look at this shaft shit. Hell yeah. I'll send him a fax. Are you a spy? Why are you here? Yeah, they don't exist. I live in denial. Yeah. It's very much not. It is powerful. It's just not reciprocated. Hold on, don't be a stalker, you'll be arrested. Watch out. What is this storybook? We're on the safari? Oh, yeah. What is this sequence? What? Sure. Oh, Smash Brothers. Fura in Smash? That's just a real cake. Like her hairline. No! There's only 4 people. Okay. Characters that are literally you. Oh! It's turning into a math question. Yep, you gotta factorize. One more. Perfect. Yeah, she's great. I love her. I don't know about blending the cake, though. No, but I'm still stalking you. Look at this, like, anime boy. Why are you here? None of you people were invited here. What? I don't want to be deep loved from my teacher. Okay. Romeo and Juliet style. My departure kit. I always keep it on me. Well, I think you just caught yourself a stalker. Well, in a weird roundabout way. Okay. Alright, that dude's happy. No more stalker. What thing happened to Chiri? Oh. Wait, drinking a blended up cake? Oh no. Don't you understand the predicament you're in? We're just gonna park the blackboard stuff, sure. G. No. Okay, bye. Well, that voice acting was fun too. Love finds a way. Here comes the fax machine, oh no! And you just feed into it? Oh no. How'd you even get that many photos? Terrifying. What? Imagine somebody saying that to you. And she's just chilling. Why does this feel like a horror show? Watch out. Okay, yeah, you're here. Fair. Well, that's convenient. Ah! What's the right thing? I think you're misunderstanding. Concerning. Oh, do you feel a little bit slighted? Oh, the music's cool. Ah! Chain stalking. This feels like Penguin Drum. Look at the penguin, too. Oh! What? No! What? uh, yeah, like a real Pied Piper. Oh. Okay. And then last one, where's the Hikikomori girl? There she is. How terrifying. That was fantastic. That was very funny. Oh, is that it? No. I'll have to remember to have a better look at this ED. I remember skipping out on it last week. It's kind of a hit, though. I don't have much to say about the episode, if I'm honest. I guess we're doing some fun stuff building out the cast in a really cool way. Like, it's a comedy show. It lives and dies off its cast. So introducing new cast members and they seem to be funny, even if they're mostly just bit part characters at the moment. Is it Chiri? What was her name? Cheetah? Something like that. The studious one. She's very funny. I like her a lot. And yeah, that the conga line of stalkers is that was probably the best of the bits. So again, yeah, just more characters. I'd be into that. Zemnis? What was that? I hope not. Yeah, and I'll bring up episode 3 here shortly. Radio, episode 3 up there ready to go. 23 minutes and 42 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy. If not, picture-in-picture version in the description below for your viewing pleasure. Let's give this thing a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. Scary ship, late night, running. Oh, look at this. Classic. This cop dynamic. Very noir. Who's that back there? Really coolly directed episode thus far. Oh. Okay. That went straight over my head, but sure. What? We won a Mango Award and then we didn't, I think. But who was that person scuttering around? I don't understand. Maybe I will with time, we'll see. We haven't really gone back into our philosophy stuff in a big way. So first episode had a fair bit of philosophy there, I would say. About how, we perceive certain different situations depending on our point of view. It's a little bit of that, but more Furu's stuff. She, just kind of became delusion after a while. She's just outright denying what she's saying, even believing in the occult in some cases. So again, maybe we'll refocus here and have a little bit more on that kind of stuff. Episode 2 is like straight up comedy stuff, and it was quite funny. So I'm interested to see where we go from here. How sporadic will the more serious stuff be, I guess? Okay. Several days later, after the intro. What? Death Note? What was that? Death Neat. Oh, wait, you're still here? No, just do what you're told. Can you stop calling me that? Is the money increasing every time too? I'm really trying to. Ooh. Exam arc. Yes and no. What? Yeah, but what does that mean? Well, it kinda is. What? Don't threaten me with a good time. I got him to shut up. Okay, like sister schools? I take issue with your examples. Me too, because I don't understand them, but sure. Oh, transfer student? Sure. Depends how good they are. Straight for the noose. She's so mean. The phone girl. Yeah, I was like, where did the ecchi go? Because that was a big part of episode 1, too. People are just fucking around in this class. It's chaos. What? Nude Rashomon? What is it? Kiku Shijo? Was it? What was that? This episode is fucking... This could be full reading. I can help you out. Where's this overseas student? Yeah, I thought it'd be you from the poster. Blonde hair, blue eyes. Oh. Bijin. Kimura Kaire. What? Well, now that you've said it, I will. What? Don't put your cat in the microwave. Well, that's not a good... Yeah, I have a personal belief against that. Come on now. Where? Because of your isolationism. No, I think he was in prison. What? Don't associate all teachers with him. What? Yeah, that's exclusive to Japan. We're obsessed with hair parts. Why would you come out as a virgin? Of course you do. Damn. Okay, PTSD? Why? Okay, she's going Super Saiyan? That effect's awesome. She's literally breaking down. Itoshiki Sensei, come on now. Go with a bilingual personality. Oh, you're back. So was it you in the start, was it? So she's bipolar. I agree. That fills me with despair. Well, yeah, she's... It's actually pretty sad at its core if you break it down, but it's pretty funny as well. I don't think you have an example of this at all. This is just extremely Japan joke. What? You just made up people? Oh no. Rival stalker. What are stalkers? A lot of stalkers. Well, it's an improper less than 3 paces. So I think, again, part of the bipolar here, or not even, it's just like twin personalities or something. So one of them's going to like him and one of them's not going to like him, I think. Why? What are they doing? Why? When I get the references, it's pretty good. Huh? Don't go there. I didn't even want to be there. Okay. Do a flip. Oh, so you'll ruin it? Yeah, I'm territorial over my suicide spot. At a certain point here, she's going to snap back, right? What's it? Ow. Oh. Yeah, and there's the voice change. Well, I mean, fair enough. Look, she's in a compromising position, my friend. What? That's what you're worried about? Why? He's in prison. What is the mathematical equation for love? Oh, still got my stalker, though. She's just wherever the guy is. Oh, is that a boy's name? Everyone's fucking weird, so it's fine. And everyone just kind of went with it. I know. Oh, more stalking. Terrifying. Maybe she was stalking you. This is fucked up. What? Oh, great. That's back again. I can do Maria. What? He sold his... For what? It's pretty good too. I just want a normal student here. Most certainly did. Oh, okay. No, but it's not. You're not allowed to do that. Okay. She's funny. It definitely is a position of privilege. We have, like, curbside stuff all the time here. Wait, where'd you find the baby? Hey, yo. Ooh. Some kind of, motherly instincts, maybe. You shouldn't catch butterflies like that. What? I don't want to protect that. Ooh. What? Get destroyed, I guess. Uh. Yeah. Oh. And then just a boom to finish us off? Okay, I thought I was getting a grasp on things. That episode taught me that I'm not. That one I'll spend half the time on the fucking... on the cheat sheet with that one, I think. But yeah, 2 new characters, both foreigners in their own ways. Was it Aira? Yeah, I like her gimmick more. Kimura. Mari is a little bit... It's a bit of a touchy subject at the moment. But also, I just like don't get it yet. Like, she's cute, I guess. I thought we were going to be doing a little bit more of a like Azumanga Chio thing with it. Where again we play up her cuteness all the time, which is fun. Yeah, but it seems like we're going for something different. The other thing is Ecchi's back. Tits and ass is back on the menu, ladies and gentlemen. Couple panty shots. One of them was plot relevant, which I thought was the better of the two. I don't know about the one where it's just like... She was just standing upside down? And there was a zoom in on her lips? Confusing. Thoroughly confused. Nah. Official complaint. With, like, Star Wars text. This stinks of a reference, too. It's cool, though. Is that a base? Oh. Oh, like Kayla. I get it. Okay, so that's how they've kind of, like, Japanified her name. Either way, we'll leave that there for now. I'll come back tomorrow and we'll talk about the episodes in a little bit more detail. Yeah, that second one's going to be a little bit more rigorous than the other, I think. But we'll see. I'll see you tomorrow. And we're back. It's the next day. I'm going to change my tact a little bit. So in kind of reading a lot of this stuff, well, one, it's a lot. And the other one is I don't get a lot of it. So, like, a lot of this is just straight up references to things I haven't seen or aren't familiar with. Blah, 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 blah. Wouldn't make for good content if I was just reading these references at you. I'd be like, this is what it's talking about. Like, who does that really serve, I guess? Like, I'm not going to read this book to you. You can... This is available to you. You can find this on your own. And again, for the huge fans in the audience, I'm sure you already know a bunch of this stuff anyway. So what I've done is I've read through it already. I've picked up the important ones in my head, the ones which I found interesting, which I will then, you know, when watching back through the episode, reference in a pretty cool way. For the record, I would say that maybe about 1 in 6 of these are hitting for me, at least in this kind of format, right? Where I'm like, yeah, I understand the reference. Yep, I get what's going on there. Yep, that's pretty funny. This one's a good example that I'll probably go into with a little bit more detail. I instantly recognize this little Hidamari sketch looking freak. And even now here, that's clearly the uniform that they wear, right? Even down here, there's a couple more of them, right? That's pretty good. I saw that one in the moment. It gave me a little bit of a chuckle. I could speak to that on some semblance of authority. I would say that not necessarily, but it may be something that a Hikikomori type would watch, that being Hidamari sketch. Like, I think it fits. There's comedy there. There definitely is comedy. I mean, there's comedy to all of these. I'm just not familiar with it, I guess. The other one here is Little Lucky Star in the corner there, and you're cosplaying somebody that I recognize. Let's read, actually, if I don't press that button. Matoya is cosplaying as Dejiko from the series Digikarat. Whatever you say, man. Again, I get the joke. She's like... She, like, turns into whoever or, like, becomes the perfect person for whoever she wants to be with at that time, right? Doing this kind of thing, when this guy's a stinky fat weeaboo, is, like, the same thing as her dressing up as Itoshiki Sensei during the episode, right? And that's concerning. We don't like that. That's poor. So, yeah, again, hopefully I remember a lot of the references. There's a couple of Gurren Lagann ones that I just know from... you know, being around, I guess. And yeah, episode 3 went way more hard with the Blackboard stuff than episode 2 did. On the whole, I would say I enjoyed episode 2 a fair chunk more than 3. Not that 3 was bad by any means, I just thought it was a step down. I thought the 2 characters that they introduced there were less interesting overall, but again, that's neither here nor there. We'll see as we continue. There was a couple of other interesting ones here of character name translations, which are all obviously puns and references and stuff, so maybe we'll refer back to that if and when that occurs. But for now, I'll just get back up the episode and we'll go back into episode 2. So episode 2 here starts with cherry blossoms and a sunny, shining sky, and Itoshiki Sensei trying to kill himself again. Very similar to episode 1 is, I guess, what I'm getting at there. We have our good friend Maida here on the traffic lights for the train. The train is coming through. Obviously, we're telling everybody to stop and that kind of thing. And we hear the all too familiar "Please Let Me Die" from our good friend, the Zetsubou Sensei. So from memory, this was some BS about people, like, scanning your credit card info as you try to get onto the train, which makes his apparent suicide so close to the railway. Pretty ironic here, of course. I wanted to highlight this frame. I like the use of black and white. I think it's quite effective. Probably is even a reference. I think I remember reading that you're a reference to something, but I digress. I just thought it's striking, very sharp. And again, I don't know if this joke's going to get me every time, but it's gotten me twice already. I could have died. How dare you do that? Dude, you were trying to die. That's the joke. Now, in my little bit of reading, I believe there's some sham names here in the credits as well that are referencing various things. Seemed very Japanese. I think the kind of copy pasta or rant that is being kind of referenced here is a rant about space, which apparently again is a very famous 2chan rant again. Very cool. Still seeking clarity on this. It just keeps making me think about Penguin Drum, which I guess isn't a bad thing, but sure. Looks like a little penguin to me. Again, my theory last week was something akin to a yin and a yang. Again, so much of that first episode about, you know, differing views on the same situations from our two main characters, so it's only natural, I guess. I've noticed this a couple times, the use of music, quite tense and very high strings, kind of whenever Itoshiki starts doing his ranting stuff. I think that's very apt. I like its use here in combination with all the chaos of this frame and all the different people moving, all the different faceless people in the crowds. It gives a nice tension to Itoshiki's mania. He's essentially manic about somebody potentially planting like a credit card skimmer in a, you know, when you hop onto a train, get your Opal card and scan that there. Well, in this case, it's a Melron card. Very cool. So I'm not a heavy train user, but I've seen people like just tap their wallet on before and it just works. He's worried if you tap your wallet on, potentially it's going to scan all your cards as well and they're going to steal all your data and identity fraud and drain your bank accounts and do all that kind of stuff. No good. The joke here is his character is pessimistic to an ungodly level. He always takes the worst case scenario of whatever could happen as truth. And it makes him want to kill himself. But again, much like last week, I see through the veneer here a little bit as well. You just wanted something kind of esoteric and weird to talk to her about as well, because you think she's kind of attractive. Again, I think that's a really fun dynamic. I'm happy we're repeating a lot of that stuff. That's the other thing about him as well. He's very self-aware. Because our school counselor character here, she's like, hey, you should stop taking the worst in every single situation. And he's like, I was born this way. It's not something I could stop doing on command. Like, he's aware that he's doing it, but he just gets all kind of worked up in a tizzy. I think that's very cute. But it also means he's playing a lot of this stuff up as well, and I don't believe him. At least not until we get a little bit more serious about some stuff, I guess. Again, seems like most of the show's just trying to be funny, though. That's all very shaft, too. That stinks of Monogatari, that whole sequence there. I thought this was a pretty good gag as well. I believe her name is Chie, something to that effect, I think. She suggests going and visiting the home of a hikikomori student who hasn't been attending school. Again, that's kind of a teacher's job to check up on them, see how they're doing, check in with the parents, all that kind of jazz. But he's like, sorry, my hands are rather full with my own concerns at the moment, as he's got both hands gripped around his noose. And then she gives him a look of scorn. And yeah, he lines up straight away. He straightens up pretty damn quick here. For a lot of these characters, I don't know which one I'm gonna go with yet. I'm sticking with Itoshiki for now. I believe the other name's Nozomu. Yeah, I don't know. Fura seems more easy for you, Fura-san, as opposed to Kafka. Either way, she's just in the area. She pays her little fee, her attendance fee here, to be able to call him Momoiro Kakaricho, of course. Rolls right off the tongue. And yeah, she joins in this little skit as we enter the home of the hikikomori student, who I believe her name is Kirikomori, which seems like a play on that same base word. Again, I don't know how Japanese works, but they both have Komori in them, I guess. And yeah, she's pretty firmly a shut-in here, screaming at people to not open the door. Lots of locks on the door, that kind of stuff as well. Dad pleading with her to be normal, but she just can't. Even maybe got a little bit of, you know, the Ringo going on, a little bit scary, can't see the eyes. That's the other quirk of her character as well. She looks so very different once she kind of shows her eyes and her actual expression. She's quite cute. It's endearing, I like it. Much like previous skits in, I guess, the first episode and even in episode 3. She's very, like, denialist. That's kind of her philosophy going forward, I guess. Like, it's never no, the problem exists and we can work around it. It's, no, the problem isn't there. let's just sweep it under the rug. It doesn't exist. So here again, the problem is that there's a hikikomori student. There's no way there could be somebody like that in my neighborhood. There must be some other different explanation for it. This is when we kind of turn a little bit occultish here in a second as well. I wanted to pause for a second and talk about the philosophy of this. I'm not sure which is better. Kind of Itoshiki's overall kind of pessimism about everything and always taking the worst in every single situation, or your outright denial that bad things can happen or exist. Like, again, they're almost as bad as each other in a weird way. You're just way more cheery about it. It's not the way the world works, man. You can't denial your way out of everything. Oh, I remember reading about this one. Here we go. So the mangaka for Sayonara Zetsubou Sensei, he won this award, but for the shonen division instead of the general division. So he's giving a shout out to the winner of the general division prize. Yeah, there we go. We're catching on to some stuff. Furo here believes that instead of a hikikomori, it is a zashiki warashi, of course, which is a certain kind of yokai that plays pranks and kind of, haunts people's houses, for lack of a better term. But it's also kind of beneficial. So then it becomes a reverse psychology thing, right? Where we want her to stay exactly where she is because this kind of yokai is beneficial for their household. So, hey, he takes this as an opportunity to be like, okay, then job's done. That's easy then. We don't need to worry about it anymore. She's going to stay where she needs to stay regardless. We could call this job done. Tick it off. Again, the grand irony here being that, generally with the hikikomori characters, we want to get them out of the room. This time we've kind of mind melded and brain fucked ourselves into thinking that she wants to stay in there, or at least should stay in there. Like, imagine being like a concerned father in this situation and see two randos like hammering your door closed. The aforementioned Hidamari sketch references here, of course, with both the uniform and the picture on the wall. Very cool. This is a very cool shot too. Look at the dimensions here. That's kind of crazy. And then for some reason we get Itoshiki up on the roof. And he's like, okay, you watch from the window to make sure she doesn't escape. So, anyway, fine. It gets him into a situation whereby he, hangs himself, so that's pretty cool. The sound effect work there is very funny, too. It's like a big, like silly string as he, falls. It's like a big, spring sound effect. Also, a few of these shaft touches are quite nice. There's a nice red frame here. Yeah, just nice eye catch in the middle of the action there, which is pretty cool. So then by happenstance, we have Kimori looking out of the window here, seeing Itoshiki hanging himself. Obviously, now she wants to leave. She can't. The whole thing's boarded closed, and then it kind of elevates from there. A mere physical barrier cannot keep her maintained. We need to employ all kinds of occult-type techniques to keep her in there. Various seals and rituals and shrines and whatnot. I believe the character designs here are more references to Nejima, so shoutouts to that. Clearly, I'm picking up trends of these shows that we're referencing a lot. This one is clearly one of them, so keeping it in the back of the mind. Maybe some required reading. Either way, we went too hard and we ended up scaring the poor girl. This results in her kind of coming into the light, showing off her face a little bit more, to which Itoshiki realizes that she's quite pretty. Bad touch. Again, I think it's one of those kind of shows where it's going to be a little bit teacher-student-y. Not great, but sure, it's fine. We're dealing with it. At least for our intents and purposes, it's the right way around. So a lot of the girls are after him for weird, stupid reasons. He's not really after them. He called her beautiful here, but it's different. And then I think we end here with a Death Note. Now, there was a Death Note reference later that said Love, Suicide, Death Note, which is a reference to the Love Suicides, which we looked up last week. But also Death Note, maybe? Because there's another Death Note. Anyway, I digress. Either way, she's infatuated with him. That's all we really need to take going forward. And we end this bit by kind of finding that there's a hikikomori, but now she's just at school. So Kimori didn't change at all. She just moved location. It seems like her running joke is going to be appearing in random locations at different times. Next character on the list here. Let me get a name because it's a pun, actually. Here we go. Matoi Tsunetsuki. Our next student info card is for Matoi Tsunetsuki, or in Japanese order, Tsunetsuki Matoi. Her name is a pun on the phrase Tsuneni Suki Matoi, which is basically the same thing, which means constantly following somebody around. Given her tendencies towards stalking and obsession, the name seems pretty apt. Couldn't have said it better myself. But she's very fun. I like her stalkerish antics. Once again, it reminds me very much of Penguin Drum, which I did enjoy. I wonder how these pun names hit for Japanese people. Is it as obvious as, like, naming... Does it have, like, J.K. Rowling name... itis? Is it a little bit much, maybe? In certain spots? I don't know how that reads on their level. Again, I probably will never know. But either way, we're introducing the plot here. Hey, Kimori's here, she's hiding in the locker, that's all well and good, but Tsunetsuki Matoi, she wasn't in class. What gives? Seems like we're using Chie-sensei a lot with exposition, so she explains what her deal is, that she's a stalker, that she's kind of been away because she made a duplicate key to a guy's house that she liked and is like been in detention or away stalking him or something. It's weird. So either way, she's in trouble. We're confronting her about it. We're explaining her character. Here, see, she's trying on all sorts of different looks and styles to impress whatever boy she's with at that current time. Even a weeb, which is unfortunate. Stupid Konata, she haunts me in my dreams. I feel like across this thing, there's been a few voices I recognize as well. This is one of them. Her voice, for whatever reason. Maybe I'll look it up in post and have a little bit of a look there and see if there's anything. But yeah, just I feel like I recognize a lot of voices. Maybe it even does just go straight into Monogatari as well with a lot of voice talent here. Again, anybody with extra knowledge there of stuff that I should know that they're from or have been in, please let me know. This was another great example of some nice shaft framing, the silhouetting, the kind of more silhouetting in the back, the kind of red gradients either side. Works as some great kind of vignetting for the scene. Just good stuff. The shaft difference, ladies and gentlemen. Good gag here as well of sending him a fax on a fax machine. Very funny. Furuta shows up and does her same old shtick again. Oh my god, stalkers? Stalkers don't exist. You only see them on TV and in the papers. That means that they never exist in real life. Furuta here kind of takes the route of playing it down. It's only pure love. It's a maiden's love. It's a childhood love. It's a very strong crush. Rather than a crime, because what she's doing is a crime. Either way, Tsunetsuki here concurs. Hey, what I do feel is a deep love. I just desperately need to know what they're doing right here at this second. And yeah, takes that as the inspiration to run away and see exactly what he's doing at this time. She commences the stalking mid-conversation, or mid-schooling. Fantastic sequence here. Love the art style change and the zoom here that we use. Yeah, kind of coming out there, the taxi rolling through. This all feels very referential too, very obviously. Maybe even in a Western sense based on the lone kind of ride on the horse. If anything, it reminded me of a little bit of Millennium Actress, just like the spaceship going through here and the love of Hollywood and acting and all that other stuff. Yeah, reminded me of that in a weird way. I don't know about the two dudes kissing, that's less Millennium Actress than I would have thought, but sure. And then it says Tea Ceremony Club, which is kind of our interstitial in the middle of the episode, whereby we do the joke with kind of Chiri and the cake, where she wants to split it very equally because she's very insane. OCD. So it starts off perfectly. Hey, there's only 4 people here. Let's divide it into 4 equal pieces. 1 strawberry each. Sounds perfect. So then we have this loser show up, and then it becomes 5. And it's like, okay, well, if everybody's going to have some strawberry, how are we going to do that? This is a simple math equation, folks. You have to find the number that factorizes both 4 and 5. I don't even know if factorizes is the right word there, but 20 is one of them. If you have 20 different shapes, and you give each person 4 of the 5, then that equals 20 overall. So you need 20 pieces to make everything fair. A little bit of shaft kind of, what do you call it? Live action footage spliced in here too, which is cool. This kind of stuff, real life strawberries, real life piece of cake. It's noticeably 2007 looking, but that's neither here nor there. Again, some of the best stuff in Bakemonogatari looked like this too. And again, when another person walks in, then you need to find a number that satisfies that next step, which means that each person needs 10 strips between 6 of us. Again, that's a number that goes into 6, 5, and 4. Yes, it does off the top of my head, yes. And again, if there's a 7th, that's like insane. Like, I would need to do some actual math to figure that one out. Either way, she goes Super Saiyan here briefly, to show off her anger as well, which I thought was pretty funny. And yeah, the kind of joke at the very end of the scene there is that she kind of has enough and figures that the best way to split the cake evenly was to put it into a blender, make it into a liquid, and pour everybody a glass, because that way we can stop having to chop everything up so very much. But that's also insanity. See, she's missing the forest for the trees. Cake is enjoyed because it's cake, not because of how much each person can equally have. You've just ruined a lovely dessert for everybody. Either way, good bit. I probably spent too much time on it, but it's one of the few things I actually understand here, so, you know. Either way, back with our main story, Tsunetsuki here is with, Takashi. The way I understand it, Takashi is a very, like, everyman name in Japan, so maybe he's just very generic as well. She has recommenced stalking our boy here, but Itoshiki has some other different opinions, which he starts to express here, about what true deep love even is. The ultimate love I speak of is a love suicide. The way of love is found in death. If you two truly love each other, then may I suggest a double suicide? This is when I referenced Romeo and Juliet. I think that's quite quite apt here. So as always, there's a kernel of truth to what he says. Again, the greatest love of all is self-sacrificial, right? Giving up something for somebody else, but again, Romeo and Juliet is a tragedy for a reason. Star-crossed lovers forced into such a situation because of their circumstances. It is not something that a teacher should advocate for a student, by any means. But again, that's not going to stop him, and she's already locked the fuck in. I now understand what true deep love is on an adult level. He's taught me. What a perfect person to project this onto. I also like how he keeps a suicide kit on him. I think that's pretty funny. That's good gear. Either way, it gets Tsunetsuki off Takashi's back. He's pretty happy about the whole thing. And yeah, she's moved very quickly on to her new flame. As we can see here, changing up her style quite a bit, reflecting Itoshiki Sensei back at him. I like how the other students instantly clock onto what's happening. It's like, Sensei, do you understand the predicament you're in? You're being stalked. Because he just like compliments the way she's dressing, blissfully unaware of what's actually going on. It's pretty good gear. The students need to remind him to be sane. So yeah, she starts obsessively staring at him throughout the lessons. Itoshiki Sensei catches on pretty quick and comes up with a sham excuse to then leave the classroom very quickly. But that doesn't stop the stalking. And then we get the stalker conga line. I remember how this episode goes. Over here we have a sign that reads Osamu Dazai. I thought that was interesting because I'm aware of his book, No Longer Human, which probably has some stuff that you'd probably agree with, or at least vibe with. The other reference here is he's reading Honey and Clover, if it wants to behave, which from my little bit of reading, I believe Kamiya voices a character in that as well, so it's like a fun anime reference type stuff. Speaking of Kamiya, I love his little voice acting with the yelp there that he does. Very, very funny, as the phone rings and he gets jumped. He's all very jumpy because of the whole stalking situation. Yeah, all these little grunts and gasps are fantastic. And here comes the fax of I love you as well. You know, Utena reference with the fax machine. If you know, you know. That's all I'll say. Yeah, bro, her heart there's really funny too. Great voice acting on this thing. I probably haven't shouted it out enough. And some pretty cool kind of episode continuity stuff. Like when he walks in here, we see Komori again, and she's just kind of chilling. Oh, I guess this one's occupied. I can't hide in here. Bringing back the whole shut-in and keeping away from society type thing once you get involved with a stalker. There's probably something with that. This person that obsessively wants to chase after somebody, and this person that obsessively wants to stay away from people, combining those two people in the same episodes in a show that's so very much about opposites and stuff, especially with the two main characters and their philosophies. That's pretty clever, I would say. There was also a reference in the middle of the episode to Chiri being in the nurse's office because she drank a lot of the cake liquid, which probably isn't very good for you. Which of course comes full circle here as we see Chiri is in the nurse's office and accidentally rolls over into Itoshiki Sensei's arms. So then I think the joke here is that she wakes up, that being Chiri, she's very, you know, everything needs to be done officially in the right way, very traditionalist even in a lot of ways. So she wakes up in the same bed as a man and then thinks that she needs to now become involved with him. It was only a matter of time, us being man and woman. Do the right thing and enter me into your family registry. Where again, it's like, no, you've taken this way too far. It was a mere coincidence that we slept in the same bed. It doesn't imply all the other stuff. Again, she's proper to the point of being absurd, improper almost, right? You see the same thing next episode with the whole, what was her name again? The little one. That whole shebang later on. Where again, it's not about her being, an immigrant and not supposed to be in this school and all that kind of stuff. It becomes instantly okay once she has a number. As soon as she has a number, then she's fine. And she has replaced another student, and that's completely above board, apparently. Oh yeah, the soundtrack for this sequence is fantastic. And I don't think I need to explain this one very much. We just do a gag by which there's a lot of people stalking each other. And again, we play off of that in a cool way with some characters experiencing that in the third person and commenting on what's going on. Very funny. Probably my biggest laugh of the episode, I will say. This guy here works for Maida Cleaning, which is pretty fun too, and he's like an underwear pervert, so what does that say about our boy Maida? I don't know. Probably not good things, I would say. I like Furu's reference to a Pied Piper type situation, and hopefully he takes them all out of town. Very, very funny. You two fit well together, actually. I like their kind of observational humor on the situation. And yeah, perfect comedic timing stuff here to end the episode. Itoshiki retreats to the bathroom, the only place where he could stay sane, with now both Chiri and Senetsuke after him, whereby Kimori is already in there. But she's just adorable. I like her. She's just funny. I keep saying I'm gonna have a better look at this ED. Still not today. Still not today. We'll move forward with episode 3 here. Episode 3 here, which starts inexplicably with it's almost like a noir pastiche. It's kind of cool, but I don't really know what's happening or who's chasing who. Oh, it's clearly the girl from later. Like, what's her name? Miura or something? No, it's like Maria. I think we're just gonna end up calling her Maria, because the name that she does have is like a male name. I think that's what's going on there. So Maria works. We'll go with that. So then she finds a TV and then plugs it in and turns it on and starts watching, and then we get a congratulations for winning the Kodansha manga awards in the shonen category, but then it says Boys Dear, and then we go into the opening. So again, my knowledge is that we won that award. Sayonara Zetsubou Sensei won that. So like, what's Boys Dear there? If only I had some kind of thing which told me exactly this. So yes, we did win the category, except not completely. It was actually a tie with Hiroki Yagami's basketball manga, Dear Boys Act 2. It's okay, you still won the prize. You went okay. He's very depressive. Now, this opening, I believe it has a segment from the previously mentioned Osamu Desire's No Longer Human. So again, maybe a major kind of inspiration there for Kumeta as well. Now, this was a fun one I read as well. The girl who asked if it was better to watch fireworks from below or from above was currently viewing the fireworks from atop a helicopter, which is a stupid joke put on the end of that. But this is a reference to fireworks, should we watch them from below or above, whatever the subtitle is there, which was first a live action thing, but then got adapted into an anime movie by Shaft later on. It's the fireworks movie from Shaft that came out in the late 2010s. So it's a fun connection. I like that Shaft kind of came through there in the end and adapted the thing. And then, yeah, very quickly there's a Death Note reference. So I wanted to pause on that one. Because that's Light there, right? Can't get him. Can't get him for whatever reason. There he is. Yeah. Very cool. Either way, all the characters off to their little bits very early here, doing their jokes. Senetsuke is hiding under the desk here, just staring at him, which is not very cool, where Fura then comes up and gives over her money. This is for today, so I can continue to pay for the naming rights of calling you this name. And in a very self-aware way, Chiri then says, hey, stop playing with all the students and can you focus on the class? Like, she's aware that she's in a show and that they started doing their shticks, and she just wants to learn something in this class for once. Inadvertently doing her shtick in the process, which I think is very fun. Yeah, all sorts of crazy overhead shots of this show. I don't really know what to make of them. I think they're a great kind of pace breaker, but especially, again, if I was to be critical, I think there's too much in this kind of section here overall of just this shot. I think we overuse it just a little bit. Again, it's so we get the blackboard in the shot so we can get all the jokes off. I get it, but still. So again, it's nice to see that cool little bit of Shaft stuff there. Either way, the conversation progresses here. Hey, we have exams soon. Won't it reflect poorly on you if you don't focus up in class and do poorly on the exams? No, I have the overseas class that I can rely on. Now again, from my little document, this joke here, as we start to talk about overseas stuff, is a Kamen Rider. So shoutouts to the tokusatsu folks in the audience that got that. Point being, these overseas classes are way better than you. So take that. Also, one of those overseas students is coming to this class here now, so their exam result, based on them being better than us, will elevate the entire class. But again, Itoshiki here doesn't really understand how averages work. That's not going to bring up the entire class, but it's only one student. I spied this one in the moment as well, but a little Gurren Lagann there for the people in the audience. I believe there's a believe in the me that believes in you, or whatever the quote there is as well here somewhere. So look forward to that. Very fast-paced joke here to finish. Lots of stuff on the blackboard. And yeah, he very quickly is over to the noose. Very funny here, Sinetsuki building her own noose here as well. And then we're over Chie. This scene was weird. I think it's just fan service. I don't really want to analyze it too much. It's one of 2 panty shots we see this episode, chat. Very, very cool. So I'd never heard of this term before. If they're coming back from overseas, that means they're a kikoku shijo, which basically just means somebody that went abroad and then came back. So weird, dunno. Here we say a repatriated child, someone who bluntly tells you yes or no, maybe speaks to, what's her name? Kaire? Something like that? Maybe talking to a bipolar personality here in a moment as well. And then we get very esoteric and Japanese about it. Like, when these people come back, they pick up mannerisms that are more common overseas than aren't so commonly seen in Japan, and it throws the teachers off somewhat. Somebody that looks you straight in the eye when they speak, that kind of kikoku shijo. And then we do the Zetsubou thing, and he goes crazy. I believe the Shinji-kun here is an Evangelion for those eagle-eyed in the audience as well. It's very funny how he calls for the rope, though. Chiri, give me the rope. It's like, no. This guy fucking loves the rope. And Fura, again, completely unaware of what he's going to do with the rope, has a rope on hand for him to have. This is when Kaede enters the scene. I feel like I've seen her design somewhere before. That or she looks a lot like Shinobu, just based on hair color and obviously its shaft. I don't know. There she goes with the looking you directly in the eye thing there as well. Okay, and then Itoshiki gets into a bit of a tizzy about thinking that she's going to sue him for being a pervert based on what he's doing, which doesn't make any sense, but sure. But it's like the card thing from last episode. It doesn't make any sense. It's the worst case scenario of what could happen if you were to have this interaction. Again, that's the joke. That's his character archetype. Which again, she doesn't even know his type of wavelength, so she's just like, this guy's fucking strange. What's his problem? Oh, he's just that kind of teacher. Oh, that's a fun background gag. Look at our little nerd boy over there fading into the background. Oh no. Oh no. Either way, they start joshing Sensei over here because he's never been to another country and maybe, you know, taking some rumors and stuff he's read online as fact. And very quickly here, he's on the back foot and says that, no, I choose to be an isolationist by choice. That's why I've never been anywhere else. It's a decision by me. It's not that I'm a loser. And then I believe this here is an ace attorney. Very cool. We love to see it. I think all this jazz about Dejima is a reference to an island off the coast of Nagasaki, which was for segregation and isolationist means, which means that's how it attaches into this conversation. The joke here with Fura is that she thinks a Dejima situation is happening with her uncle who's in prison. Again, she's unable to see the cruel reality of the situation, which is that he's a criminal and that she's never going to see him again. She now thinks that he's there isolationisting by himself on his own terms. See what I mean? Where you need a fucking PhD in nonsense to understand this shit? Oh, I've had this in the wrong view here for a second. Excuse me. Either way, now Kaire is going off her head, saying that everybody's insane. All of you Japanese people are insane. You do insane things, like cheat on your wives. Which everybody does, but sure. Maybe a little bit more of the fetishization of it, maybe. Depending on your perspective there, of course. And anyway, she's just like spiraling here. There's a bunch of bullshit in there. Something about strawberries, something about holding your face in a weird way is suggestive. I don't even know where she's from. I don't know any of this shit. I'm from outside of Japan. I should know what she's talking about. And yeah, kind of here, everybody turns on her. Maybe she looks very much like Araragi here. Something about the hiding of the eye, maybe. Anyway, this is the frame where I'm like, I recognize that person. Either way, then she has a fucking mental breakdown. She imagines a time when people bullied her for being foreign and told her to go back to where she was from. Probably before she went away, before she came back here today. So sure. This is where we get kind of creative again. I think, again, the episode needed it. It was quite stagnant up to that point, production-wise. Again, that one flat shot, man. I must mention the joke here as well, chat. Her name is Kaire Kimura. Kaire is short for... It's not short for... It means go away in Japanese. So again, that's why she's got kind of the bipolar thing going on. They told her to go away, but that's also her name, so she never feels like she belongs anywhere. That is her central point of despair. And then it's like, oh my god, she's coming. She's... And then, yeah, from there she kind of disassociates and then becomes a completely different person. Which is her character. That's her character trait. It's kind of funny. Little interstitial gag here as well with Kirikamori here. And Maria watching the TV before she gets revealed later on. And then when we come back from the ad break, she's art style changed and she's very traditionally Japanese looking, you know, white skin, blush, very geisha. And yeah, she reintroduces herself as Kaide as opposed to Kaire. Which, again, you see the fun here now, because Kaide is like a real Japanese name instead of just like a weird pun. So again, that's going to be her thing. She's kind of bipolar. She's got two personalities. She has two names. One is very traditionally Japanese, encompassing Japanese values, whilst one is very boisterous and, you know, out there and loud and stuff. Very foreigner, right? And again, that's how we're going to build her humor, I guess, based off that dynamic. Something that almost entirely is going to go over my head, because I don't know what Japan thinks about themselves, and I don't know what Japan thinks about foreigners. So, again, another big fat I don't know from me. And then Fura interjects and says another very Japanese joke here, where she thinks that she had the same thing going on by being confused between the differences in Tokyo and Nagoya lifestyles. In the reaction, I was going to make a reference here, where again, I could be like, I could tell you the difference between how Sydney people are and how Melbourne people are. Most of you aren't going to get it. You're not. And they do exist. They're pretty funny jokes when they happen. But again, I only get them because I'm here. They have no international frame of reference. None at all. That's why it's always very funny when I hear somebody try to like adapt a Kansai accent or something like that, right? Like, it's just, you can't really do it. It's very difficult. I think another dynamic to the Kaide thing going on is when she's Kaide, she looks at, you know, Itoshiki Sensei, this teacher, in his nice traditional garb and all that other kind of stuff, and thinks that he's quite the catch. Where again, you've caught the ire of the stalker over here. Where again, that's going to be fun how she kind of flip-flops between all the stuff. By the end of this skit here, we do the kind of Una reverse. I've changed back, now I'm suing you for sexual harassment. Pretty good. Yeah, Sonetsky in particular is feeling some kind of way about proving her wrong and stuff. I think Kaide's overly kind of level of caution and tradition and all that other kind of stuff is maybe self-critical of Japan and some of their customs and how they're, you know, anachronistic, fallen out of favor with current times. Something 3 paces behind your man or something is very odd. And again, she internalizes it so very much and is losing because of it. Again, read into that how you will. Where again, these two over here instead are embracing the new Japan and doing a fusion dance. Very cool, very Ginyu Force based. It gets to the point where Kaide thinks that living is no longer worth it if she can't be with Hitoshiki Sensei and goes to commit suicide. Very thematically relevant with the rest of the show. Sayonara Sensei, she says, but Itoshiki shows up and catches her. This is one of my precious potential love suicide spots. You can't use it for your suicide, so get out of here. Joke being that in the process, he kind of reactivates her, she changes into the other side. Right there at that moment, whereby big old panty shot, big old sexual harassment. I thought the whole thing was you were trying to avoid her, so this didn't happen. He has egg on his face, among other things. And yeah, she starts filing a complaint. And then yeah, he gets, again, very esoteric here. Instead of being concerned about going to prison and going on trial and his career being ruined and being locked away, he's more concerned about how he'll look in courtroom sketches, a style of which he is not particularly fond of. Sure, man. He goes off on some tangents, man. Seriously. I do like the voice acting change there for Kaede/Kaire when she kind of switches back and forth. I think it's the same voice actress. She's quite talented putting on those two different personas. I never did get to the bottom of the whole Momoiro Kakaricho type stuff. You calling him that right now, because I think the vibe was that it had like a dirty meaning or something. You calling him that after he's being like sued for sexual harassment is in poor taste. See, I get the joke. 2 in a row here that I understand. Equivalent exchange. I believe that this is to do with Fullmetal Alchemist. Believe in the you that believes in yourself is a weird, messed up version of the Gurren Lagann thing. I'm onto it, somewhat. Yeah, and then the episode gets strange here for the next 5 minutes. It'll become odd to talk about. I don't know how I feel about the whole illegal immigrant thing. That's a little bit too close to home at the moment, I guess. I do like the joke where one of them is like Mitsubishi, Honda, and fucking Toyota or whatever it was. I think that's like the equivalent of like, you know, an American being named McDonald's. It's just a little bit on the nose, you know. Either way, it seems like we're calling you Sakutsuki Taro-kun or something. I'm gonna stick with the Maria, which we use later on. I think the best part of the joke here is how nonchalant everybody is about it. Like, there's this student that showed up which nobody fucking knows. They've never seen them before. It's clearly a fake name. She's like, it's fine. Very like Mrs. Krabappel energy. If you know, you know. Where again, Chiri is caught in the middle of this, being the one and only person that, you know, is a stickler for the rules and follows this thing to the nth degree and really wants to find this kind of thing out. It's just annoying her. It's annoying her that there's somebody that she hasn't seen before. You know, I'm meant to be the person that knows everything about class. So she takes this TV everywhere, because that was like the first thing we saw her with this episode, and kind of follows her around in a weird way. Either way, Chiri resorts to stalking the poor girl. Kafka just kind of follows along because she's here. She's good at just stumbling upon the plot. It's quite funny how she just constantly shows up. I wonder if we'll play a little bit, play with that joke more and more as the show continues. Either way, she makes her way into her home. There's a bunch of dudes. And Furi's just into it. She like high-fives her briefly. And it's like, no, they're not illegal immigrants. There's no way. Again, her joke being that she just denies everything at every opportunity. I guess the connection in the episode there, as well as the Kikoku connection, which is the same one with Kaede from before. So like they're also they were here and then they were not here, then they were here again, but that's clearly not what's going on in this situation. So like funny humor is produced. Now, I don't understand this little freak that sold his student number. Was he trying to gamble? Did he put it all on red or something? We'll never know. Either way, he sold his student number to Maria. That's the reason why she's attending class with his name. This whole sequence is pretty good. The whole classless bit, pretty good. And yeah, as I said before, Chiri is fine with it as soon as there's some proper transaction and there's some meaning behind everything. It's not an irregularity. It can be explained with something she understands. She then is on board straight away. And then we like call her cute for a bit, and she also steals a baby off the curbside. I don't know, man. This shit's going off the deep end. So yeah, doesn't matter what she's doing, she's gonna be able to get away with, you know, bloody murder now. Everyone just thinks she's too adorable. They gave her a bunch of crap. They're even giving her money. Kaede doesn't really like it. But yeah, changes her tune once she gets smiled at once. The charms are... They cross international bounds. They're impossible to ignore. There's like a pedophile joke in here too, or something. And then yeah, it ends, and like, it turns out that Tsunetsuki and Itoshiki have already killed themselves. I don't know, man. I'm still probably a little bit like weirded out by that whole episode. I don't know, man. What was that Star Wars bit? And then she plays the bass for a bit? I don't know. Get this shit off my screen. Yeah, just to pull the whole thing back here, these are hard sessions. Like, I'm doing a lot of Googling in between this and like trying to figure some stuff out. I don't know if it's working. It's fine. It's good. It's a good show. It's funny. The comedy good. I don't know about this whole analysis part. It makes it twice as difficult, and I'm not sure that the reward is really there for me personally. Again, maybe I just do my reading and kind of leave it at that. I don't know. We'll see. Either way, another good session. Two good episodes. Again, clearly 2's better than 3 there, I think, but again, still hitting our stride. Good direction, good shaft stuff. The references were okay. The ones that I got were pretty good. And yeah, looking forward to next week. Patreon if you want to be that 1 week ahead. Like the video, subscribe. I'm out of here. I'll catch you later. Goodbye.